Hey there. Am I here? Oh, it's always so hard to tell. Welcome. Welcome to Friday Lunch and Learn, where we just gather together and talk about painting. And I still don't see it, but I'm going to keep talking to you as if we are here. If you see this, okay, I see it now. Welcome. Sorry I was late. I had to run down to the warehouse to grab something and made me a little bit late. So tell me how you are. If you're joining me, let me know you're here. And hey, Sandy. Now I see some people, my hair's going all over the place today. Hey, Darlene. Glad to see you too. Have several things to talk about. I'm excited to have y'all. All right. We just finished up, and I said I was not going to say that word finished. What did I say I was going to say instead? I don't remember. So we just had our Child of the King workshop, and it was fantastic. Not because of me, but because of these wonderful ladies that came and participated. There's the cards I was looking for. It just made it really sweet. So in that workshop, we were focused on how could we use our creativity, which is what we do all the time, as a tool, which is what we do with everything, but to make a record, to create a record of God's goodness and his faithfulness in our life. And so it's kind of like a spiritual scrapbook. Hey, everybody. Rachel, see y'all. I see a lot of y'all coming now. That makes me happy. So we spent a lot of time getting the framework for this. And this is where we're just going to be recording scriptures and art and different things like that to because we're so forgetful. We're just forgetful people, aren't we? And this is a good way to use our creativity to help us create a record. So what I wanted to talk to you about is a couple of things. So whenever I was with I forgot to share this. Let me do that real quick. So whenever we were doing our Zoom Tuesday night, I think it was, I accidentally discovered something, and that's what I want to play around with. I want us to play around with it together so I can show you. But I was playing around with acrylic ink. Okay, now I think it's in there. Okay, so I want to experiment with that just a little bit. And I don't know, are y'all tired of pumpkins yet? I just want to do a little bit of something with pumpkins before we shift in toward Christmas stuff. So, hey, Mary Beth and Brenda, Darlene. Hey, Darlene. Okay, so 2 weeks post-op from surgery. Can you see better? Or does that take time to know if you're going to be able to see better? I don't know how that works, but I'm glad you're here with us. What I'm doing is I'm cleaning off a spot to work. So while I'm talking to y'all, I'm trying to clean off my spot. So, and Emma's right up under my feet. Hey, Miss Gloria, I'm so glad you're here. So this is something that, all right, let me just say this so you understand. So my brain kind of starts slowing down at night. And so I love our Zooms, but as soon as it's over, I turn everything off and I walk away. I just can't clean up my space. So normally, whatever it is that I do next, I have to clean off my spot so that I can do it. Good. I'm glad it worked. That's awful. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you're here too, Pam. So I'm going to talk about several things. This was a happy accident. So that's what I wanted one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So in Creative Heart Studio for this month, for October, this was our painting of the month. So we have one painting of the month project that I usually paint in a few different forms because I want y'all to know that if you don't have the same watercolor paint that I have or the same acrylic paint I have, that you could do it with a different art medium. So I painted this one for the lesson with watercolor. Hey, Sherry. And a lot of our ladies did theirs with a variety of different mediums, and I love that. So you could do watercolor, you could do water-soluble markers like Tombows or even Crayolas. You could use color crayons. You could use paint. You could use acrylic paint. And whenever we were working on this, I discovered something about the acrylic ink. And I don't even know if they realized that I didn't know that this would work that well. So this is what I want to show you. So this is our version. And so then I was showing them how to draw it. And we made this version. And I was hoping to have this attached to something. But my thought is that it could be attached and it could be a pocket to put little slips in of what you're thankful for. So I like to think outside of the box for different ways to do things. And like it could even, whoops, that's not the side I wanted it on. It could even go on something like this, and we could put our slips down in there. So while I was doing this, though, I learned something. Ooh, I almost turned that over, about the acrylic ink. So I want to play around with that just a few minutes together. And then I want to show you my next project because it involves the nativity ornaments. Have any of y'all done the nativity ornaments? If you have, could you tell me by maybe put a Christmas tree emoji or just words? I'm just curious. Or if you've not done it, you could say, haven't done it. Just let me know if you've done it, or maybe tell me who has not done it. Maybe that's better, whichever way you want to do it. Because I'm working towards something really special with that. And we still have a few of those kits left. Karen's only got 2 done. Johnette's not yet. Okay, so good. So I can tell y'all. I just didn't want to keep repeating the same things. Okay, this is helpful. So the story, all of this is going to tie together, I promise. So the story about those ornaments is based off of the book 2 from Galilee. And I just loved that book and created an ornament, painting it on 2 pages from that book. And my goal, whenever I started the first one, was each month I was going to release a new ornament. That's what I was going to do. But it didn't work out that way. So I released them all at the same time. Well, not the same time, but back to back to back. So if you started the project and you didn't finish it, it's really okay. It really is, because we still have time before it's time to decorate. But the other goal with the set, this is what I wanted to tell you, is I wanted to do like a nativity masterclass where I'm taking those characters out of, I'm saying characters because there's animals in there, so maybe I should say the people and the animal and the stars from that collection and create a big piece. So I'm tidying up things at the end of different things so that I can shift gears and work on that. So with that being said, that's kind of where my mindset has been. And whenever we were painting the pumpkins the other night, and I realized that the ink did an effect that I didn't know it would do, but I was excited that it did it. So I might could incorporate some of that even in the ornaments or the nativity masterclass. So I wanted to get some paper and just kind of show you what I don't know that they even knew that I didn't know it would do that. I don't know. But I want to show you something because I think this could be a really neat effect. Okay. So you know that I'm looking for my watercolor dots. You know that watercolor paint, for the most part, is translucent. And I don't see one, so I'll just get one of my things. Not all, some of the watercolor paint is more translucent than others. There's some that is more opaque, which means you can't, I don't remember who it was that was describing it, this visual, but translucent is if you picture you're in a boat and there's water, you can see the bottom. Translucent is you can see through the water to the bottom. Opaque is you can't see the bottom, or you can barely see the bottom. And it's not that one's better than the other. It just depends on what you want to do with it, basically. So I love translucent watercolor. I love all things translucent because you can make such really nice layers and such a neat effect with your painting. But I also appreciate opaque watercolor. So here's what I want to experiment together is I've got to get my watercolor paper. So hold on just a second. So I'm going to get 2 sheets of paper, and I'm going to use, if you want to do this along with me, that's great. So here's what I'm going to use. Watercolor paper. You could even use cardstock if you don't have any watercolor paper. I'm going to get some of my watercolor paint. I'm going to get the translucent color, and I'm going to try and find a comparable color in the opaque watercolor. And I want you to see the difference. And then I'm going to do a sampler with the ink. So in the Creative Heart Studio, and maybe we talk about it on our lives too, I like to have a book that I can do experiments with and make notes for reference. And I really do encourage y'all to do that as well. So if you have one of those, this is not, I may not be able to practice what I preach. This is not mine, and I don't want to waste time digging around for it. So I'm just going to use this watercolor paper. All right, so I've got, this is just an inexpensive kit that you can get from places like Michael's. I've even seen these at places like TJ Maxx and Ross. These have a tendency to be more opaque, okay? This is some that we have in our shop. This is, more like the artist grade, like a mid-range artist grade. I think this set is, I can't remember for sure, but I think it's like $24. So this set is probably like $7, I'm guessing, but I think. All right, so I'm going to have to get a, well, maybe not. Here it is. Here it is. Hang on. I'm just going to grab, I think this fuchsia would work. So this is Daniel Smith, and we use this a lot in our projects. Just, I mean, I love that paint. So you don't have to have that brand. That's just the brand that I use a lot. So let me get a wet wipe. I want to clean this saucer off so you can see. Then I'm going to grab my other paints over here. I think I am. We'll see. And show you the difference. And the reason I want you to see the difference is once I get started with the Nativity Masterclass, these kind of little subtle things really make your art I think it sets it apart. It's fascinating how it can work. Okay, so all right, y'all, I got to get up, so y'all don't leave me. I'll be right back. I got to get my other paints. Okay. I can't get them, and I don't want to take more of your time. So we're gonna work with these two. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the other ones. That's okay. We're gonna be okay. Oh, and I got to turn my other camera on. I knew something was different. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Hey, Deborah, are y'all having good weather? Do we? Here we go. Well, I thought we were going. Okay. Work with me, Mr. Camera. There we are. Okay. All right. I'm just curious. Could you let me know? Do you have acrylic ink? I'm just curious how many people we have that have acrylic ink. I'm trying to use comparable colors just so you can see the difference. So I may not have the absolute exact color, but maybe it'll be close enough that you can kind of tell a difference. And I might just pull in. See, I have this fuchsia. I have that. I don't have the fuchsia paint, but I want to have a good comparison here. All right, so I could do, this is the golden fluids. All right, y'all, here we go. Let me know in the comments, do you have acrylic ink? I'm just curious how many people might have the acrylic ink. Then this is just the, I guess you would call it a mid-grade watercolor paint. This is the acrylic ink. And I'm going to go ahead and do a comparison with this fluid. This is acrylic fluid. And this is the Daniel Smith watercolor paint. So just to recap, because I know I've been saying all this choppy, we have watercolor paint, the very basic brand. Then we have the mid-range watercolor paint. And then we have the upper range. These Daniel Smith tubes are, they're artist grade. They cost more. Some of them are like $11 or $12 for a tube of these paints. They last a very long time. This is what I use for our dots that we make so that you can sample it and know if it's something you want to use. Now let me grab my cup of water because we're going to need that to do the rinsing. And we're going to do a study, an experiment to see the difference. Let me grab my water bottle. Okay, so with the paint that's in these little cakes right here, you have to kind of wake them up. You have to kind of activate them. So I've just got some water, and so I'm just going to mist them with the water. Okay, now I don't have a paint dot of this, so I'm just going to put some of this on the edge of Meemaw's saucer right there. It does not take much at all. And I'll probably just get a little piece of wax paper if I see it. I don't see it, so I may not get a little piece of wax paper, but I'm going to stay focused. All right, so now what I want to do is I also want to take a pen because make notes about it. That way you can remember what you did. So I want to do it. Let me see which direction I want to do it. I want to do it this direction, okay? Make sure y'all can see this. So I'm going to call this set, I need to give it abbreviation. I'm going to call this the MIC set. That's Michael's. Then this is the confetti. Then let's put Daniel. It's Daniel Smith, but let's just put Daniel. Then on the row below it, I'm going to put acrylic ink. And I don't think it matters about the brand on these. I haven't really noticed a difference. And then I'm going to put a golden fluids. Okay. And the reason, for those who are just joining, the reason that I'm doing this is to help you see, to understand these a little bit better, the supplies a little bit better, to see what they're capable of, so that you get new ideas of how you can use them. And I don't know all the ways. There's lots more ways. That's one of the things that's so fun about being in a community of creatives, because you can learn so much from each other. Let me grab my paper towel. All right, so my first thing up is I'm going to wet my brush, and the colors may not be identical, but I'm just trying to get them close, okay? So I'm going to get this color right here, this fuchsia color, and I'm just going to do it right here. And I want to just do like a swatch of it. Then I'm going to rinse my brush, and this is I forget, this camera doesn't zoom. All right, this is showing me how much it will move with water. It moves a little bit, not a lot. All right, so now let me get the confetti paint. All right, they look really similar, don't they? So this would absolutely work if you know, now watch this one though. This one moves more. And that might not matter as much to you. It really depends on the project, I think. So if you were working in a coloring book or just something simple, that cheaper set, I think, absolutely works. If you were working on a painting and you wanted some variation in the color, you would want to use that artist grade, just to see how you can move it and layer those thin layers. Okay, so now let's get the Daniel Smith, and this one is quinacridone fuchsia. Okay. All right, so it's not the same color, but it's close. I mean, kind of. It's kind of close. It's purple, but I want to show you how it looks on the saucer in just a second. All right, so now I want to see how this one moves. See, it's going to move more. And depending on your project, you may not care if it does that or not. But can you see how just by moving and pulling things over, you've got the darker here, and you could actually create a really light shade of this color just by thinning it down. Okay, so I think I've got it enough that you can see how translucent it is. And I really wished I had a comparable color, but can you kind of tell? And we may have to wait for this to dry. This one is more translucent. This one is more opaque than this color. Even though they're not the exact same color, I think you can see that you can thin this out by thinning it down, and it would make it a little bit more translucent. But overall, the color is a little bit more opaque. And then this one is as well. So now let's look at that ink. So this is Artist Loft. So that's the Michaels brand. The level, artist level is 2, and it's acrylic ink. So this is like acrylic paint, but it's ink. It's very, very thin, very thin. And it is not water soluble. So I'll have to make sure to wipe that off of Meemaw's plate. It might be hard to if I wait. Awesome, Karen. I wonder, have you experimented with those acrylic inks? I'd be curious to know. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of this. Now look. Isn't this so cool? See? And I can try pulling it out, and it will come out a little bit. Now watch this. I've always used the inks as a layer on top of my other paint. I've never really painted with them. So depending on if you move it fast enough, you could mimic the effect of the opaque watercolor. Okay, so there's the ink. And when this dries, I wished you were here with me so you could see, but when this dries, it even looks different. And I enjoy using it as a top layer on my paintings because of the variation. I like to have variation in my colors, in the texture, in the sheen. Like I like for some of it to be matte and some of it to be really, really dull, and then some to have a little bit of sheen to it. All right, so this is acrylics by Goldens, and they're called fluid. They're not as thin as the ink, but they're much thinner than paint. And so you can see I can move this a little bit and get a really thin layer right there. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about this so far? I want to try and paint something with this so you can see. If I could get to, let me do one more thing let me show you one other. Let's do this also with acrylic paint. Just this is Americana. It's called Dragon Fruit. Okay, the Daniel is drying, so I'm going to show you that in just a second so you can see. All right, this is just acrylic paint. And for a long time, whenever I first started painting, I painted everything with acrylic paint, and the majority of my work, I painted it on watercolor paper. I didn't know how to use watercolor paint, and at that time when I started out, we didn't have the internet access and YouTube videos or online classes. You just learned from art books. Yes, Deborah, it is, and it's very translucent. And look how it's beginning to dry. See, it's got this little, I love when it does this little effect right here. It's almost like it formed an outline of sorts. Okay, so this is the Americana paint. This is the Golden fluids, and then this is the acrylic ink. So what I want to do is I'm going to do I guess I'll do, what will I do? I'll do a heart. I'm going to do a watercolor heart on this side and an acrylic heart on this side. I'm going to try really hard to use the same steps. Should I get up and go get the Daniel Smith pink? Let's see. I think it's okay. I think y'all can get the idea. So see, this is the Daniel Smith, but it looks pink. But on paper, it looks purple. So Esther, you like that? I love it. I love it. And they, with Daniel Smith paints, they usually have, oh, I don't remember what it's called, but they'll have these little granular things in them sometimes, depending on the color. It's just really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to take my Daniel Smith and I'm going to do just a heart. You know what? I'm going to move this because I want you to see this closer. Hold on. This might make you dizzy for just a second. I really want you to be able to see this. Okay, see how it's starting to puddle right in there? And when that dries, it's going to be a really neat effect. And then down here, it's starting to puddle along the edges. If you don't like that, all you have to do is pull it out and let it just, you could fill in the heart. Get a little bit more. It's just it's just a cool effect. Okay, see how that just kind of pulled up there on its own. I could leave it like that, or I could, pull it out. But I like that effect. And I don't know if you can see this right in there, but it's starting to have little veins because this moves with water, but it moves with anything that's wet. So it's just starting to create little, what do you call it in rivers when it has those little offshoots off of a river? It's what it reminds me of, little channels. Okay, so let's let this do its little thing. Uh-oh, sorry, y'all. Mighty Mouses. Okay. I wished you could see this in person to see how it's trying to hold it at the angle so you can see it better. Okay, so there's Daniel. Okay, so I'm going to get a different paintbrush. All right, I'm going to need to stick this back over here because I can't do both at the same time. All right, hold on. Sorry, I should have had this set up ahead of time. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. That's still not better. Oh, hold on, y'all. I just want you to see it. Let's try this. All right, hold on with me. All right, let me get this other brush. All right, so where is my pink? I just had it. Here it is. All right, this is the Americana acrylic craft paint. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. What I really want to show you is how different they act. So see how in this one, the acrylic, it's opaque. That means if you were in a boat, you can't see the bottom and you're looking down on the water, you can't see the bottom. This one is translucent. You can see You may not see completely the bottom, but you can see. Okay, so now let me get, what one do I want to do next? Let me do the confetti set. And I'm just going to do a layer. I'm going to add some. I think it was this color that we used before. Right over in here. I think the mailman is here. See how those colors, they're just starting. It's just fascinating to sit and watch them work and just see what they decide to do. All right, so that's adding in that confetti. And then now I want to come over here and take some of my Michael and put right there. See it working? Okay. So now let's go over to the acrylic side, acrylic heart. And I want to show you what would happen if we added a little bit of gloss to this. Let's see. Hold on. All right. This is the fluid, magenta fluid, primary magenta, golden fluids. I'm holding this with one hand and painting with the other hand because I can't get it. Hey, Terry.
Hey.
Could you help me with this real quick? I'm showing them how this paint works and I can't get the camera. Y'all bear with me, I apologize. If you could take this off of that stand, just take the iPad off. Okay, and just put it out of the way. I should have had it totally set up in advance, but I thought this was going to work. Okay, Rhonda, I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm trying to get it so that it's overhead, and I couldn't get the thing to come down low enough. He's helping me, y'all, so hang on just a second. So I think if I could bend it, oh, maybe do this. Nope. Try that. Is that better?
I think so.
And then I could clamp this to that. All right. Can somebody tell me if that's better? Oh, maybe let's go this way. I think that's better. Now, I just got to do my seat. Okay, sorry, y'all. I was just trying to get it so you could see it. It is nice to have help, Cheryl. He came in on his lunch break, so I grabbed him up. And then I need my cup, my thing that goes right here with the water. I could use that cup. That one right there.
There you go.
Thank you. Good job, sir. Good job.
Glad to help.
All right. All right. Let's try this again, girls. All right. So I'm rinsing out the acrylic paint. And I want to show you the fluids. Good, Deborah. Thank you. It just was not, oh, it was not working. All right. So this is the fluid. And let me just put it beside here so you can see. A little bit more water. You can use these to create a really thin layer of acrylic. That's where they come in so good, is when you're wanting to do something that's translucent but work with acrylic paint. See how, and Golden is a good brand. I feel like there may be other brands. I don't know if Amanda's here. She's really good at knowing. She's real good at help. She'll say, let's see. She's good at finding other alternatives for us. Okay, so see, this is the golden fluid. And see, I can just keep pulling it off of there if I wanted it more translucent. You can't really do that as much with that paint, with just the basic paint. All right, so now let me hold it so you can see it maybe a little bit better. As this dries, I think you'll be able to tell even more. And then let me do one more down here with the fluids. So, okay, y'all see that? Then I can take some water like this. If I wanted it even more translucent, I could do that with just water, moving it. See? Now, if you don't have these, you don't have to get them. But if you like that effect, then I would only get your favorite colors. Like, I rarely ever buy the basic sets because I want to choose my colors. So I do a lot in my artwork with green, gold, and different teals and sepia and gray. So those are the basic colors that I like to keep on hand. Look how this one is doing. It's still working. It's still working. So we'll keep coming back to this one. All right, so here's the Americana right there. This one is the fluid. Let's see if I can show you. See, it's just really thin, but not as thin as ink. All right, so now let me show you what I usually do. Boy, I'm being brave doing this without an apron. What I usually do is I'll use this to do like squiggles and things like that, or drips or splatters on my art, because this is very opaque. And what am I trying to say? When it dries, it just looks different. It's like it's almost dull. So I could do a heart with this, or I could outline it. Or another thing that these are fun to do is just like this. And when it dries, it's not like puff paint, but it is more raised up than this other paint. So what I wanted to do in our experiment, though, is to just paint a heart with just the ink. Because whenever we were on our Zoom the other night, I noticed something about it that I didn't know it would do. So this is the ink. So I'm going to take a little bit of this ink like this. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water to it. I noticed that I could thin it down and could mimic watercolor a little bit. Not the effects that this has, but I could come close to mimicking that. So I'm saying all that to say, like the other night when we were painting, I didn't want to have to get up to go to my paint thing. So I just tried to grab what was close by, and it looked pretty good painting with it. I've usually used it just for effects, but you could, I think I painted a pumpkin with it. All right, so that's, I don't know if that's helpful or not. Try it, Rachel. Try it. I've got, let me show y'all this because I think you would like to see this. Hang on. Let me see if I can grab it. It works out really good on top, and that's typically what I've used it for. Whoops. So see this painting right here? If you look, I don't know if you can see it. If you can see at an angle, oh, that's the one. This one got torn. I forgot about that. We took it to a show and it got torn. It's raised up. I don't know if I can hold it in a way that you can see it. So in Jingle Mingle, I'm going to teach how to do some of this effect for the snow, but I'll use a medium for that, but I'll also use ink. And it just makes a really neat variation in our colors. And with this, I can tell this is where I came back with my white ink dropper and I just kind of did some scribbles on there. It just makes really nice effects. Okay, so let's see if I can get back over here. All right. And it's hard to kind of see that one because it's still wet. You can see it, Deborah. It's so much fun to play with. But if you see some, I know that I wanted to show y'all this because I know stores like Michael's, we're getting into the fall, so they're going to be putting stuff on sale. And if you see acrylic ink on sale, I would encourage you to get a bottle. Get a bottle of white. Another good color. It just depends on your color palette. Y'all know I like to use red a good bit. So I have a red that I have a red. I think I like this primary red. I like to do that with, let me just show you how this would really make it stand out. So, well, let me get some, probably help if I get some up in there. Well, it's not pulling the paint up. It might be clogged. Let me get, let's do this. That was still wet, so it's coming in together, so it may not stand out as much. This one's dry. Let's see if this will do. So this is how I've typically used it, but I was excited when we were doing our Zoom to realize I could really paint with this and have some really nice effects with it. It's kind of like a little rough, a very rough variation of a pumpkin. Okay. And then I also realized when we were doing that you could push it a little bit. If you do it quickly, you could push some of it away and have it to pull up down here at the bottom. And y'all, I'm saying P-O-O-L. I don't know if that sounds clear or not. I know that Southernese sometimes doesn't sound okay as what we're meaning it to sound. Okay, this is the white. And I don't think it matters the brand. Just get whatever's on sale and has the colors that you like. See, this will make a really nice effect whenever it dries. Cheryl, it depends on how thick you have it down. Let me show you. I brought this up here to show y'all. So this is my project for Jingle Mingle. I'll be teaching this on October 25th over in the Jingle Mingle group. So if y'all have not signed up, I want to encourage you to. Let me move this so you can see. So I created these layers, these thick layers with gel medium added to my paint. And I did not show the ink. Well, I haven't taught this yet. I forgot I've not taught this yet. All I did was I made it. Oh. See, look. Isn't that the coolest thing? So if you don't have any of this, you might want to get some, but only get it in the colors that you like. So I was trying to get to my green so y'all could see my green. And think of it as, just build up on your, I usually get this color. This is like a flesh tone. I consider it a neutral. Like if you wanted it to be browner, you could add, or if you wanted it lighter, you could add white. This one is called, what is that called? I can't read it. It may be called Flesh Tint. I found this gray the other day on sale, and I really liked it for this kind of stuff. This is that other color that I use so much in my artwork. Can you show the label up close? Yes, absolutely. Let me get, and I'll go, okay, here it is. All right, y'all. So this is the sepia. I use this a lot. So this is that Daler Rowney? I think is how you pronounce that. Daler Rowney. You'll see the FW on it. Okay, I'll show you that too. And this is, I don't see where oh, there it is, sepia. It has sepia on there. So I could take this. I think I need to clean my droppers because it's not soaking up. I want you to see how we can use this for the stem. All right, I'm just going to use my paintbrush. I've got a pointy paintbrush. I can just, why is this not working? Could you do this with paint? Absolutely. Do you have to have this? No, you don't. But if you like the effects, if you're like me and you like to have different variation in your art, this is some of the tools that you can use to achieve that. All right, so that's the sepia. And like I could even do some along here to have a little, and it's just really translucent. And that's hard to get that with regular paint. All right, so now let me put the lid on that and I'll show y'all the white one. You don't want to turn this stuff over. Does it say liquid ink? It says acrylic ink. That's what you want to look for because there's lots of inks, y'all. I'm glad you asked that. Look for acrylic ink. You can paint with this on your acrylic painting, or you could add it as a top layer to your watercolor. All right, so here's the acrylic ink that is white. It's just white. And this is the brand, but I thought I had another brand. I use a lot of white. So let's see. Yeah, Liquitex has their version and it says acrylic ink. So that's what you want to look for and look for what's on sale. And in my opinion, the Liquitex bottle, the dropper is easier to paint with. See, it's longer and it's easier to work with than this acrylic ink. Okay, so then this is another color. This is turquoise. I use this a lot in my own artwork. And this is the Artist Loft. So this is the Michael. So think of this as a generic. It has a good dropper. It's a long dropper. So this one would be easy to paint with. See, I could come over here and just add some of this color. I try and use it sparingly because I like since I like variation, if I use it in thick blobs, it's no longer a pop. You know, it's more like it's part of the thing. So just those few little places that It just adds something that's hard to get in other products. All right, this is a gray that I found on sale the other day, and it has worked out really well. This is the Artist Loft, and it's just called gray, but again, it says acrylic ink. Is there any other colors y'all want me to show you? This is the one I showed. I need to get some more of this because I'm almost out. I use it a lot. I use it a lot. And this has got the short little nub. But that's the color. It's a good neutral. I'll use this a lot of times, even in my, I mean, you could use it for faces. I was trying to find something right offhand, but I don't see anything. Do I have gold? Bridget, I think I do. I think I do. It might be in with my Child of the King stuff, but I do have gold, and it looks like all of that, but I don't see it. Here's another color that's good for pops, though. This is a yellow, and it's a good, it's the same thing. It's acrylic ink. It's yellow ochre. See that color? It's really good for adding pops of color. So like I could add a little pop right there to my stained glass window. I'll try and remember that once all this dries, I'll try and remember and post a picture of it finished. But now what's going to happen is that part that's yellow is going to be a little bitty bit raised up, a little bitty bit. And it'll just make a really cool effect. Okay. What do y'all think? Is this helpful? So if you don't mind me taking just a moment to recap, this is a project that I'm going to teach how to paint on Friday, the 25th at 1 o'clock. And it will be over in the Jingle Mingle group. And if you've not signed up for that, I would love for y'all to join me over there, y'all. I can't even remember how many people there are now. I think there's 14 of us. And so it starts on that Thursday at 10 and goes till I think 5 that night. And then again on Friday. So we're just going one after another. Good, Sandy. Good. And I do have a kit for this. We just sent out a big batch of them yesterday. Oh, look. So see how it's running? It's because I was holding it down. So I'm just going to wipe that off. But that shows you how liquid it is. And it does take a little bit for it to dry. So I do need to hold that still. But we do have some of these kits left. So if you've not ordered a kit, you can go to the website, PamCoxwellDesigns.com, and it's right there on the home page. And then I'm working on the details about the Nativity Masterclass. Absolutely, Rhonda. They're all what we do is after it's over, we leave those video tutorials in there until the next Jingle and Mingle. Is everything included? We don't ship acrylic paint, but I do have a supply list for you. But the kit has the wood round. It's got the book pages. It's got the embellishments. I think what you would need to have is the paint and your adhesive. What's the discount code? I don't want to put it on the front facing, Brenda, because it's just for y'all members. So if you don't, you should have it in your weekly email. But if you don't, send Adrienne a message and ask her for that discount code. So our members, our Creative Heart members, get discounts on supplies. So that's what Brenda's asking for. What was the other thing I wanted to say about that? Adhesives. You're going to need your adhesive. Like If you like to use Mod Podge, you could use that, or whatever you like to use to create a collage background. And if y'all are not on the email list, I want to encourage y'all to be on the sign up for, it's called the Happy Mail. So if you want to type Happy Mail into the comments, I can send you the direct link to your Facebook Messenger, and it's 2 words, Happy Mail. But we're about to start announcing dates and stuff like that, and we'll do it through email, through our newsletter. So I want to make sure that y'all get the information so you don't miss out on anything. Got several projects coming up. We've got Christmas card camp. I'm taking the cards that I taught at Christmas camp this summer with Tracy Pounds and Tracy Gibson, and I'm making a camp. I've got a couple of more designs I'm going to add to this that we're just going to make Christmas cards with. We'll use watercolor for these. So that's coming soon. And then we're almost ready to re-release Watercolor Christmas. So there's a lot of stuff coming, and I want to make sure you know about it. All right, y'all. I hope that you have a happy Friday. I hope you have a happy Friday. I hope you can find some time to be creative and just enjoy this beautiful fall weather. And let's just remember to continue praying for our friends in Florida and Georgia and that whole line of areas that have been hit so hard by these 2 hurricanes. Just pray for them. All right. Thank y'all for being here. And I hope to see y'all next week. Don't forget, Tuesday's my birthday, so I'm not going to do lettering live. I'm going to get off somewhere by myself, and I'm going to be painting art for our 2025 calendar. So I'm just going to spend some time by myself that day and just enjoy painting for that calendar. And then next Friday, we'll be back. Oh, I forgot to say this. I keep saying all these things I forget. Monday, do y'all remember my friend Jessica Watts from the Happy Home? She's going to be giving us some more styling tips Monday night at 7 o'clock over here on my Facebook page. So I hope y'all will come. She is just a beautiful person and creates beautiful things. So she's taken our October kit and she's putting something special together for us. So I don't even know what it is. I can't wait to see it. So it's 7 o'clock on Monday night right here on our Facebook page. And I think that's all the things that I wanted to remember to tell y'all. I think I did pretty good for not having it written down. All right. Let me know, for any of you watching the replay, if you have questions, let me know. Just put the hashtag replay and then ask your question. That way I'll know I need to answer it. Thank you, Debbie. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I have a new appreciation for birthdays. I do. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you being here. Yep, that creativity is a gift. It is. All right, y'all go have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.